Can being prepared actually save you money? Yes, it can. Let's talk about it today. You can't be prepared for every scenario in life. There is always going to be a pop-up rain shower or an emergency that you didn't see coming or a little pothole in the journey of life. But there are lots of things that you can be prepared for that can help you to navigate life a little bit better and save money in the process, because preparation is everything. It saves us time and it saves us money. Well, my first tip is to get the information. That is how you can be prepared.
A family member needed some medical testing.
I spoke to someone at the office ahead of time and they let me know how much the test was going to cost us, what our insurance covered and what it didn't, and I was actually able to negotiate a price. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize that you can negotiate your medical bills. You have a lot more wiggle room than you might think, even if you are paying through insurance. One, so I'm not surprised when I get to the doctor's office. And two, it's easier to negotiate down that price before you actually receive the services. However, if you get an unexpected medical bill, you can go to medicalbluebook.com. I'll leave a link below and see what services in your area go for, and then you can negotiate the price accordingly. You have rights. You have rights. So Google them and understand what they are. I'm not telling you not to pay your bills. I'm telling you to be smart about things and know what you're actually obligated to do and what you're not. Number two, saving for upcoming expenses. Life costs money. There's always something you're going to have to pay for, but things like holidays, back to school, birthdays, and upcoming annual expenses, none of those are actually emergencies. And so if we know they're coming and we're prepared for them in advance, then it's not a surprise when it gets here. You may remember a few years ago, I totally forgot to pay our termite pest control. So where we live, our home doesn't have termites, but there are termites in the area. And so to avoid having an issue should we suddenly want to sell our house, we have an annual termite inspection. We get a termite letter every year saying, yes, your property is termite free, but that costs money. And I totally forgot to do it. And then the hilarity ensued. Anyway, you can search my channel for that video. But knowing that these things are coming, reminding yourself that they're coming by, writing them down in your planner, setting yourself an alert in your phone, or this is my tip, going into your Google Calendar and putting it in as a reminder. Or I like to shop ahead of time, but I also am very disorganized and lose things. And so one of the things that I've done is if I buy something ahead of time, like for my kids for Christmas or a birthday party or a Mother's Day gift or whatever, I will put it away and then I will go into Google Calendar, put where I put it, and then search for that item in Google Calendar later, and I know exactly where this is. This is also a way to keep up if you have multiple kids and you're saving hand-me-downs. It's a great way to keep up with your hand-me-downs so that they don't get lost, because not having the summer shorts you need when the weather gets warm again, then going out and buying them, that costs you money. So having just little mental triggers is super helpful. But saving for upcoming expenses, putting money aside into a savings account or a cash envelope if that's what you use, or just a jar that you keep in your kitchen, but having that money set aside means you're not surprised when the expense arises, particularly if you know that it's coming, and if it's an annual revolving thing or if it happens at the same time every year. We know in August we're going to need school supplies, so we start saving in June and July. We know that in December, a lot of big holidays are happening, and so we start saving September and October and November. We don't have to be surprised every time something big happens. I was going to talk about meal planning, right? If you spend any time on this channel, I'm going to talk about meal planning. But meal planning is just one of those ways that you can be prepared. So Sunday afternoons are always a bust. I am so tired by the time Sunday rolls around, and if I haven't meal planned or my husband hasn't decided, we'll end up hitting up the drive-thru. And it costs $45 for my family to go to McDonald's. I would rather have money to go eat somewhere that I look forward to and that I enjoy. No shade if you enjoy McDonald's, you do you, girl. But I would rather have the money to go to Taco Mama and sit out on the patio and enjoy some nachos and a margarita than to have, you know, a bunch of chicken nuggets shoved at me through a window. And so having either something going in the crock pot, or like today is Sunday when I'm filming this, I knew, okay, we're gonna have burgers. I had the meat in the refrigerator. We got home, we pattied them out, we cooked them, we ate. And you know, it's so much less expensive to do that. And it took 10 minutes to pull everything together. This is also why I love freezing my leftovers, because if I am just too tired to think anymore and our day has gone completely awry and my meal plan falls apart, I can go to the freezer, pull something out, throw it in the air fryer, throw it in the Instant Pot, throw it in the crock pot, whatever device I'm using in the moment, and my family has food to eat. It's just putting food on the plate. That's all you gotta do, but plan for it because things can get dicey. And finally, set expectations. So I got a question on Instagram from one of you that said, how do you handle outings? Because I'll take my kids to the park, but then we get ice cream on the way home and all these expenses add up. So set your expectations ahead of time, both for yourself and for your kids. I like to give myself a script of what I can expect. That's why I plan. That's why I write things out for the week. I need to know what's going to come next so that I can feel good and secure. If I, as an old lady, need that, then I'm sure my kids need that too. And so having those expectations set doesn't leave any surprises. It answers their questions and everyone knows what to expect. So I like to take snacks and treats and lunch to the park with us, so that way we're not hitting Zaxby's on the way home or getting the Chick-fil-A out on the way home. We have food already and I already packed it and I don't want to have to unpack it, so let's just eat it. It's usually how it goes. So I'll tell my kids, look, we're going to the park and then we're going to go home and eat lunch, or we're going to the park and we're going to have a picnic while we're here, or we're going to sit in the car and watch a movie, whatever. We're not going to go anywhere else. We're not buying anything today. Or if they go with me to the store, I'll just say, hey, I have a list. We're only buying the things on this list. Please do not ask me if we can look at toys in the store, because that's not why we're here today. And sometimes we will look at toys in the store, and I'll say to them, look, we have a list. We are going to look at the Legos. We're not going to ask to buy any Legos today. However, we can pull out Mama's phone and take pictures of really cool Lego sets we see. And then your birthday is coming up, so you may want to ask for that for your birthday or for Christmas, or I'll give you the opportunity to earn the money to pay for the set yourself. And so that way the expectation is already there. Kids will bug you and they will try to wear you down to the point where you say yes. And I'm not a parenting expert and I don't always get it right. And sometimes I cave, but this is what I say. So if we're somewhere and my kid just won't quit, can we go to Sonic and get a drink? Can we go to Sonic and get a drink? And I've said no, this is what I do. I'll say, what did you ask me if we could go to Sonic and get a drink? And what did I say? You said not today. So you've asked and I've already answered. I'm not going to change my mind. Please stop asking. And that usually works. Let the treat be the treat. Let the day at the park be the treat, or the day at the zoo or wherever it is be the treat. You don't need anything extra. We took our kids to the county fair this week and it was so expensive to go to the county fair. And I knew they usually do a half price day. They weren't this year. And so I told my kids, listen, we're going to the fair. We will get one special snack while we're there, fried Oreos every time. But please do not ask if we can play the carnival games. Those are a ripoff, because the fair and getting to ride all these rides, that's the treat. And they totally understood. They had a lot of fun. They didn't ask for anything. We didn't get home till 10 o'clock and my kids slept in the next day. So it was a treat for everyone. But defining those expectations for yourself and for your kids is really going to be helpful. Okay, so I would love to know, how are some ways that you are prepared that saves you money? Is it big ways like having meal plans and putting money aside? It's a little ways like carrying an umbrella with you so you don't have to buy one when it starts raining. I would love to know what your tricks are. Leave me a comment below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up.